Hey folks, how are you tonight? Thank you again for tuning in. The show is called Let's Get Cooking. I'm your host, Charles Minnick, so what do you say? Let's get cooking. Okay, tonight we have a special guest in our audience. We have Meredith Suter. She's actually a reporter for the Goffstown News who is sitting in. You can't see her because she's choosing to remain off camera. But if you saw the January 5th edition of the Goffstown News, she had a wonderful picture of me in there, so thank you very much, Meredith. And I said I like to cook because it's just plain old fun, but actually it's because it brings the girls around. Meredith is proof of that, so welcome aboard, Meredith. Hope you enjoy your stay here. Anyway, tonight, as usual, we're gonna cook some great stuff. Our sponsor, Sully's, has provided us with some wonderful pork chops, which we are going to make Asian style. The wine that they provided is a Shiraz from Tisdale, a nice dry red wine. Polish that bottle up and we'll polish it off tonight. So without any further ado, let's introduce our cast tonight. The star is going to be these pork chops. Now, these don't look like the color pork chops you're probably used to because I've already added soy sauce to them. That's why they're getting their color, and a little bit of ginger. We're gonna add that tonight to some Gorgonzola garlic bread, kind of a fusion of French meets Asian. And we're gonna have two types of rice tonight. We're gonna make this batch of rice is going to be fried rice. This batch of rice that I've already made up is going to be a cold rice salad. So, first thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start with our garlic bread because we can cook that in our brand new Toastmaster. Yep, that's a Toastmaster. Little toaster oven, which was provided by one of our viewers named John. I never got his last name, but he heard that we wanted to get one of these, so he provided one that he had. So, all right, our Gorgonzola garlic bread, guys. Everybody loves bread. So what we're gonna do with our bread is we're gonna take this little mixture of butter. I got about 2 tablespoons of butter in here, and I've got about 2 tablespoons of mayonnaise. The mayonnaise and the butter mixture is gonna give it a nice crisp coating and an incredible flavor because the butter doesn't have enough fat in it yet. So we gotta add some mayonnaise to that to really, really juice it up. Paula Deen would be proud. So we're just gonna slather this on. Spread it around. If you'll notice, I'm using a spatula for this, like a rubber spatula. It works much easier than using a spoon or a knife, and it gets everything into every nook and cranny. All right, guys, that's looking great so far, and that's tasting great so far. Now, we're gonna add some Gorgonzola to this. You can get this Gorgonzola for a couple of dollars. You get a couple of ounces, and a couple of ounces goes a long way. And it already comes pre-crumbled. Now, if you don't like Gorgonzola, you can use blue cheese. You can use feta cheese. But either way, you gotta use some sort of cheese, or else you don't have that cheesy garlic bread that you're going for. Also have a little bit of old standby Parmesan cheese. Gonna sprinkle that on top, both slices. And we're gonna use our fingers, and we're just gonna mat it down a little bit. Okay, now, you have your choice now. You can either use some minced garlic, you can use some garlic powder. I'm actually gonna go with the garlic powder for this portion, because this may just be a little too much. This will be a lot more flavorful with the minced fresh. So I want to let the Gorgonzola come out as a flavor, so I'll use the powdered garlic powder, or garlic powder, and that will have that flavor come out. Now, what else do I have for this? I have basil. This is from my own window garden that I tell you guys all about every week. Get your own window herb garden. All winter long, you can get fresh herbs. This I picked 3 days ago. It's wonderful. My only suggestion, guys, is be careful driving, because if you're going to a friend's house with fresh basil, you don't want to be caught with a bag like this if you're pulled over speeding. They will question you. And we're just going to sprinkle that on top. Voila. Now, right over here, we are going to just lightly wrap this in foil. Each of them. And thanks to John and our new toaster oven, in goes the first one. Let's see, it's okay, just getting a time check. And we'll put that on top. All right, so quick little wipe. Get ourselves cleaned up here for the next step. All right, next thing we're gonna do is we're gonna start our cold rice salad. For that, we're gonna need some water chestnuts. Let me get that out of the way for you. We have a can of water chestnuts. If you don't have water chestnuts at home, you want to do these recipes, use celery if you have it. Because, you know, really, the chestnuts do not have that much of a flavor, but they get a nice texture. They have a nice crunch. So we're just going to give these a little bit of a chop. Now, for our cold salad, we're going to put those right in there. For our fried rice, put those right in there. Get that oil going. The oil we're using tonight too is actually sesame oil. You can get this at Subway's, you can get this at anywhere pretty much. That's what's going to give the flavor to our fried rice. People that make fried rice at home and they try to use just soy sauce, that's why it doesn't come out good. You're just using soy sauce. You need that little extra sesame oil. All right, so we get the sesame oil going, we got the soy sauce going. I'm gonna add a little bit of ginger. You can use ground like I use, or if you want, you can even use fresh. Thing about using ground, it does cake up a little bit. So you gotta take the top off and sprinkle it out. All right, as this is going to heat up, we're gonna start our sauce for the pork chops. Now the inspiration for this meal was this little packet right here. I got some Chinese food takeout and this came with it. What do I do with this? So I decided I'm going to make an Asian inspired mustard sauce for my pork chops. So let's see how much is in here. A little under a tablespoon. That's great. We're going to add that to that oil. And we're going to take some brown mustard. You can use Dijon, you can use brown mustard. If you want yellow, you can use yellow as well. And we're going to take a good teaspoon of that. Put that right in there. Get that mixing up, get that heating up. And that is going to be the base for our sauce for the pork chops. And if you haven't noticed, the pork chops are the last things to cook because those will cook the quickest. All right, let's check the bread. Still not crispy enough, so we'll let that sit in there. Okay, now we'll take our mushrooms. What I want to do with these is I also want to chop these up. You can use you can use canned mushrooms rather, ground mushrooms. Use canned mushrooms. You can use fresh. If you use fresh mushrooms, you're going to want to put those on a little bit earlier into the oils so that those have a time to saute up. So that half's going into our cold. This half's going into our hot. And that is not heating up like I thought it would. So we'll turn that up a little bit more. All right. There we go. You hear that sizzle, guys? That means it's working. Oh, that smells good. Again, you guys need smell-o-vision or a smellotron. Get that little piece out of there. Now, to our mustard sauce, we're now going to add a good tablespoon of garlic. Yeah, it's going to be a garlicky dish. I'm going to mix that in. And that's going to sit for a little while. There we go. What I'm adding now is some peas to our hot and peas to our cold. And I'm going to add some red peppers. I already have them pre-diced, some red and green bell peppers into our cold rice salad. And I'm going to heat a little bit up for our mustard sauce. That is looking yummy and it's smelling wonderful. All right, now we're going to take this bread out. You're going to see how this one's cooking up. It's our first time using this toaster oven, so I think what we're going to do is we're going to leave it uncovered. But can we get a shot of this? How's this look right over here? Look at that cheesy goodness right there, huh? That looks wonderful. And again, it smells wonderful. All right, so we're just gonna let that cook some more. We'll turn that up a little bit. All right, now folks, right now, we're gonna take a little break. We gotta let things cook for a little while. So go do what you have to do, but come back. We'll be back in a couple of minutes. I'm not going anywhere, so don't you go anywhere. So we'll be right back, and we'll see how this all comes together. All right, we'll see you in a few. Hi, folks. My name is Charles Minnick. I'm the host of Goffstown Public Access's latest hit show, Let's Get Cooking. I'm not here today to tell you about my show, however. I'm here today to tell you about the Goffstown Food Network. If you are hungry, if you're in need of a meal, the Goffstown Food Network is an outreach program that provides meal assistance to those in need. They're located right in downtown Goffstown, across from Sully's Superette. Every Wednesday, between 6 and 8 p.m., and every Saturday, between 10 and noon, you can go in there, show proof of residency for this area. That includes Ware, New Boston, and Dunbarton, as well as Goffstown, Pinardville, this entire area, and they will make sure that you are fed. Don't be ashamed. Sometimes we all need a helping hand. And if you have a helping hand to give, please donate to them. Cash donation, a food donation is greatly appreciated. Again, that's the Goffstown Food Network. They're located downtown Goffstown, right across from Sully's at the St. Matthew's Church. Give what you can. Take what you want. They are that little penny thing that you see at the convenience stores. Give a penny, take a penny. Whatever you need, no questions asked. I want you to be well fed this winter. So please, if you need help, go there. If you don't, give there. Thank you. Hey guys, welcome back. Round 2 of our dinner tonight with our Asian-inspired pork. As you can see, the magic of television, we've already taken the liberty of cooking some of this pork up. We have a little Foreman grill over here that we were using, and by all means, you can grill this at home on your grill or a Foreman grill. We're using a Foreman grill because we are inside, and you know what? We could also use a Foreman grill on this show. Nice big one that I can bring home with me and use at my house would be great. But the great thing about a Foreman grill is it really does cook on both sides at the same time. It's a great little kitchen tool. I highly recommend one. And again, I want to give a special shout out to John who saw the article about needing a toaster oven and or a electric stove. Because look at this, John. This is your Gorgonzola garlic bread. Isn't that beautiful? We're going to let that set right there. We're going to get our other piece of bread ready. We have learned we don't want to cover it. We are going to just put it in there straight, uncovered on a piece of foil. But again, thank you, John. This is a wonderful addition to our set here. Those of you who are fans of the show, like John, will realize that we haven't ever cooked garlic bread. Now we have this toasty Toastmaster toaster oven. Say that 3 times fast. And we're doing a lot more things with that. So again, thank you. Now, over here. Come on, camera guy, let's get over here. Look at our sauces going. Now, over the break, our special guest Meredith did say that a lot of garlic. Well, there's a lot of garlic in a lot of Asian cooking. So that's why there's a lot of garlic. But she also said it smells great. So what we're going to do right now, guys, is we're going to kick the heat up on our fried rice right here. Going to let that get nice and hot. We're going to finish that up. And we are going to add to our sauce a little bit of teriyaki marinade. Also to the teriyaki marinade, we're going to add a little bit of vinegar. If I know where I put it, oh, it's right here. I would recommend using rice vinegar. However, they have it in the house. So I'm using regular white distilled vinegar. So you're just gonna add just a little bit, maybe quarter cup. I did add a little bit during the break. And we're just gonna let this sit for a while. The white vinegar is gonna give this little bit of like bite, a little bit of zing that you get if you have any Japanese cooking. You'll know what I'm talking about. But it's gonna be mellowed out by the sweetness of the teriyaki sauce. All right, this is popping up right here. That is smelling wonderful. All right, we got our cold right here. We got our hot right here. Now, the hot. I don't have a wok. I think 90% of America does not have a wok either. So what you're gonna do, get this heat, get this oil nice and high. What we have in here is we have a little bit of, let me get this stuff out of the way here because I'm going to go right over there. Just to recap, what we have is we have mushrooms, we have some chestnuts, we have some peas, we have some ginger, we have some soy sauce. And I'm going to add a little more soy sauce. Now, folks, one very important thing I did not mention was I made this rice the night before. Any Asian style rice is best made sticky. And it's best to make it the night before. What I did is I took 1 cup of rice and I added 2 cups of beef stock. You can use chicken stock if you want, but I prefer beef stock. And that's it. I just let it sit overnight and it's nice and sticky. Voila. Take it off the heat as you're stirring it. Because let me tell you, as I learned to make this recipe, I realized one thing. There is nothing more disgusting than burnt rice. That is a smell that stays in your nostrils and in your house longer than it should. It's a horrid guest to have. So, there we go. We have some homemade fried rice. Now, if you don't want to use any of those ingredients, you know what? Go the traditional route. I made that my own, but you can add your bean sprouts, you can add your pork. It's a great recipe for leftover pork. Little cans of those cocktail shrimp, perfect for that. So you get some pork house style fried rice. Okay, now, after that, let's look at our cold rice salad. Well, there's not much to this, except it's rice. we have added to it the chestnuts, the little bit of white onion that I did cut up during the break. I do apologize I did not show that to you. But we're going to add to that. We have chestnuts, we have peas, we have red and green bell peppers. We're going to add some sesame to that. Also to this, a little bit of soy sauce, a touch of the sesame oil. All right, hey, let's check our friend the pork while we're doing that. Oh, that's looking good. Just going to give this a little flip, or just a turn, I should say. That's a thick cut, so it's going to take a few minutes to cook. Now, we're going to add a little bit of ginger to this as well. And a bit of our teriyaki marinade. Just a touch. This is a cold salad. Give that a good mix. These will have very similar but distinctly different flavors, if you can catch my drift, because one is hot, one is cold. All right, we'll put that aside. Let's see how our sauce is doing for the pork, which I think is sounding like it's done. Let me just give this a little taste. Oh, wow, that is hot, that is awesome. That is pretty incredible. All right, I think it's time we start plating some things up here, folks. All right, so what we're going to do to plate this up, guys, we're going to add a little bit of color. I did get a wonderful email from some of you awesome viewers out there that said, hey, Charles, love zucchini and summer squash. Why don't you try something else? Well, I use zucchini and summer squash. One, it's inexpensive, and two, it adds nice color. So I thought, what else adds nice color? Well, you know what? Beets do. Look at that color right there. And it's all about presentation. Once the cooking is done, it's all about the presentation. So we've got a little bit of color right there with the beets. And because we always try and cook on a budget, canned beets, inexpensive and tasty if you like beets. So for this plate, we are going to have our cold salad. Let me just try a little taste here. That is awesome. I'm not just saying that because I cook it. Wow, look at that. Look at that. All right. Now, I'm going to place that right there. Going to pull that off of there. And on this plate, let's try our warm fried rice. And folks, as I always want to remind you this part of the show, I really want you to think about those that cannot, well, pretty much afford to feed themselves, which is why we partner with the Goffstown Network, which runs the food pantry right across from Sellers in the Episcopalian Church. They would love your donations, but please give them good stuff. Don't give them pumpkin pie filling, all right? Give them something good. Give them something like this, because you know what? Everybody needs to eat well. So here is our garlicky Asian sauce. Yeah, it's garlicky, guys, but you know what? Garlic is a wonderful thing. Look at that, huh? Now, what I'm gonna do is add a little bit of Parmesan cheese to everything. And that's gonna give that little bit of flavor that puts it over the top. And some sesame seeds. If you want to add extra flavor to your sesame seeds, Little pan like this, put them in there. Very, very little bit of butter. You can toast them, you can roast them, and that's going to give them another depth of flavor. But just going to sprinkle that all over everywhere. And oh, we forgot about the red-headed stepchild over here, but we rescued him just in time. So, whew. Again, thank you, John. This is awesome. Gonna turn this over because now we have our Gorgonzola garlic bread. You guys should see Meredith. She is salivating over there. She knows there is good things about to happen, that there are good things afoot. There we go. And just because we want to have this later, look at that. You know, the cool thing too about this type of bread, get the whole loaf, make it up ahead of time, throw it back in the freezer. You take it out, put it in the oven as you're cooking something else. It's going to defrost in the oven. If not, you don't want to do it that way, let it sit for 20 minutes on your counter. It'll defrost, then throw it in the oven. All right, so first thing I want to have is I know I said that was Gorgonzola garlic bread, but really, that was a taste of heaven, guys. That was awesome. So let's check this out. How is my pork? If the Gorgonzola garlic bread was heaven, the pork is beyond heaven. That is awesome, guys. Oh, enjoy. Again, folks, my name is Charles. I'm your host. The show is called Let's Get Cooking. If you want to be on the show, please email me at mchm411@comcast.net. I think I said that right, mchm411@comcast.net. Dave's going to put a little thing on the bottom of the screen, right, Dave? Yep, he's giving me the thumbs up. Oh, wait, no, he's giving me the finger. Anyway, we'll deal with that later. So, anyway, enjoy. Until next week, bon appetit. Let's get cooking.